Hello. I don't really know how to pronounce the rest of the words. It's actually supposed to be incredibly longer, but Ohio is good enough. It means hello, I think. It's either hello or good morning or both. Regardless, today I'm gonna make a video about the evolution from Weeaboo to Otaku, which I don't really know a whole lot about, but I can do this by just using the general information that I applied to myself and what I guess I'll be applying to others. Okay. So if you all think back, and if you watch anime and stuff, or like anime and manga and blah blah blah, you can remember just watching maybe a couple things and everything. Sorry, there's a gnat. My cat's gonna now go after it, hopefully. If you'll remember, like, maybe watching 2, 3, maybe 4 kinds of anime. Like, maybe you watched Vampire Knight, Hellsing, Hellsing Ultimate, Dragon Ball Z, stuff like that. And you didn't really watch a whole lot of other things. Well, back then, we didn't really have a term for that, or maybe we did, and I just didn't know it back then because I didn't really trust the internet, and I didn't have a Tumblr or anything because I don't think Tumblr existed back then. Regardless, nowadays, if you are like that, like you only watch 2 or 3 animes, and you don't do anything else, then you're most likely going to be called a weeaboo. Now, I don't agree with this. I don't. I consider a weeaboo to be someone who they're always like, kawaii this, kawaii that. And they try to speak in like broken Japanese and they I don't know. They're like senpai this, senpai that. They're new to things, yes, but it's not just because they watch 2 animes and that's it. I don't consider a person who, let's say, they just watch SAO and Fairy Tail and that's all they want to watch. If that's all they want to watch and they know a lot about those shows and they're like dedicated to those shows, and in fact will even buy merchandise for those things, that's not a weeaboo. Unless they're talking in broken Japanese and English and stuff. You all remember your weeaboo stage, I hope. I remember mine. I was like, I just, sorry, there's something in my eye. Ah, cat fur on my eyelash. Don't get a long-haired cat. Sorry. Anyways, I remember my weeaboo stage. I just learned about, well, actually, it wasn't even whenever I had just learned about anime. Because whenever I learned about anime, I was about 9 years old, something like that, and I mostly just watched it just to watch it because I was still under the impression that it was just a cartoon. It wasn't until I was about 10 and a half years old that I learned that there was a word for it and it was anime. And after that, I was like, I drew a lot of anime characters. I would constantly apply san, kun, 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 chan, sensei, and senpai to my friends' names. And for a while, my friends would be named after anime characters, and I was just kawaii this, kawaii that, sugoi. I'm still like that. I still will drop kawaii or sugoi just because they're simple. Like, kawaii, as far as I can tell, means very cute or so cute. It's one of cute. Sugoi means amazing, cool, awesome. Like, so and so was so and so is very sugoi, or that is sugoi. Watashi wa no sugoi. And I would try to speak in Japanese. I would actually use Google Translate. Don't do that, by the way. Don't do this. But I would use Google Translate to try to write things in Japanese and fail epically. Because it's a rough translation, it doesn't translate directly, and just don't do it. But I remember that stage. Nowadays, however, as I stated before, if you just watch 2 animes, or you barely know anything about anime, and whatnot, then you're considered a weeb, or weeaboo, and I just don't agree. If you're dedicated to an anime or a manga, and you buy merchandise for that, and you, like, know a lot of details about it, and you come up with theories and stuff, and you just, like, you're very intelligent towards that certain manga or anime, then I consider you an otaku. You don't do a whole lot of things like what other people consider an otaku, which is like, you know all the anime, you know all the manga, you have all the merchandise, all you can think about is that stuff, and you're very smart about it. No, that's not what an otaku is. I mean, that can be an otaku, that's like a hardcore one, but just because you only know a certain amount of anime doesn't mean that you are a weeb. Okay? So, watch what you want to watch. Maybe you just don't like the other stuff. Like, I, for one, I thought I would like Fairy Tail. I'm not actually into it. I do like Gray. Gray is cool. And I still use anime bases for some of my drawings. Like, if I just don't know how to draw a body a certain way, then I will go on Google or DeviantArt, and I will look up free use bases, and I would use them for how I want to draw my things. Now I'm getting to the point where I just look for a reference and I use that instead, and don't directly copy per se. Like, back before, I would put a piece of paper against my computer screen and I would just trace it, and usually only using a base, not actual art, and then I would tweak it to my own thing, so it's still using a reference in a way. Sometimes I would, like, remove, like, a limb for certain characters or something, but still. Regardless, I'm now getting better where I can just look visually, and if I don't agree with a certain position, like, maybe I don't agree with how their arm is positioned or something, or I don't like their eye shapes, their eye shape, or their hair, it has to be different, then I tweak it to my own thing, and I make it mine. So that's references. That's actually completely unrelated to anime, but it's it is, and not. Regardless, a weeaboo is not just a person who watches or reads one or two type of anime and manga, okay? They're new to it, yes, and just because you're new to something doesn't make you a weeaboo. If you are going like, kawaii this, kawaii desu ne, and speak in broken Japanese English and stuff like that, then I consider you a weeaboo. But that's not a bad thing. You go through stages, okay? If you were like that forever, it can be a little degrading, but if you eventually just sit down and just look at a certain anime and you're like, well, there's quite a bit of backstory about this person. Like, I'm pretty sure this is all symbolism towards this one thing. And if you think smartly about it, then it can be a good thing. So don't let someone label you as a weeaboo if you only like 2 to 3 manga or anime and you are very smart about those things. And if you, for the most part, speak English, unless you're Japanese or Spanish, so on and so forth. Speak your native tongue. There we go. And you don't try to speak broken Japanese. Okay? Then you are considered an otaku in my books. And being a weeaboo is not a bad thing, as I've already stated, okay? Neither is otaku. That's okay thing, too. You can get inspiration. I mean, I'm pretty sure some great anime people, artists, and manga artists, and blah blah blah, were at one point otaku or something like that. So, you can be good. You're good no matter what it is. Don't let people label you incorrectly, and don't let being a weeaboo, if you are one, drag you down, because eventually you'll do your own thing, and yeah. Not all weeaboos are bad. I even have a Tumblr account called Weeaboo Guppy. Has it anything to do with being a weeaboo? No, I just like the name. So, yeah, follow me on Tumblr. Alright, I'm gonna call it off because it's been 11 minutes, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!